Hey, this here's the Angry Mark, and you're just about ready to find out what exactly that means, because I'm reviewing TNA Impact. This should be a whole lot of fun, don't you think? Let's have a whole lot of fun watching as Russo and company make a mockery of wrestling. Let's have a whole lot of fun at this, because I'm sure not. Be back in a bit. Well, I'm back. Just what the fuck did I just watch, though? That's the question I have right now, because personally, it started out with Hogan and Bischoff sitting out, Hogan with a metal pipe. And Bischoff telling him, no, that was not the time. We actually have to think with our heads, something I'm pretty sure they're very fond of doing, instead of, beating up every person in the place until they find out who exactly this network rep is. We're supposed to find that out later, by the way. Just keeping it there. Also, Jeff Jarrett, the mountain of charisma that he is, and Karen Angle come out to speak to Kurt. This is rather interesting because personally I could give a shit. And second of all, when they got out there, the crowd was actually somewhat hot this time as opposed to last week when the crowd was deader than a doornail. Did they actually get some real fans in, or is it just people they've paid? I don't know. Sometimes I can't tell. Anyways, Jeff is out there to make an apology to Kurt Angle, and this time it's supposed to be a quote-unquote real apology instead of the fake one that he gave him. Instead, what we get's the normal heel stuff of, it's kind of a jaded type thing where he's saying, I'm sorry that I've beat you in every match, and I'm sorry that Karen's been such of whatever to her. And the funny part is he actually sat down and called Karen Angle innocent. A petite little flowers, per se. And I'm putting words in his mouth because actually he couldn't come up with that on his own. But still, the fact that Karen Angle's innocent just drives me absolutely freaking insane and batty. That's funny. Unintentional comedy? You might say so. Kurt Angle comes out a bit later after a miscue by Karen Angle where she says, she calls Jeff Jarrett Big Daddy, and Jeff Jarrett goes and whispers in her ear, and she does the entire line over again. She actually says, and me and Big Daddy just want you to know, and then you see Jeff Jarrett just kind of walk over to her and whisper in her ear on live TV. In the middle of the freaking ring on live TV, he notices her miscue, and instead of just letting it fly like he should have, he decides to point it out. Yeah, real freaking brilliant acting there, Jeff. So anyways, she says the entire line over again, which is Kurt Angle's cue, I guess, to come out. He comes out and says, I don't know why I married you, why I stayed with you for 10 years. It had to be the kids, which I have a problem with that, too. You don't bring kids into a storyline like that. You just never do that. That's wrong to the kids. Anyways, excuse me. Jeff says that, or Kurt, my mistake there. Kurt actually comes out, says that his business partner's here tonight. I know who it is. I won't spoil it. But let's just say, well, back to what I was saying. Kurt comes out, says his business partner's going to be there. And while he was going to just bring her out, which would have made absolute sense, the network executive, who we don't know, but is supposed to be there tonight, tells him to wait and give her a proper introduction. And that Jeff knows her, which instantly starts up a kind of a back and forth between Karen and Jeff, because Karen's a little distraught now that Jeff knows another woman. Really? Jeff would know other women? Seriously, that's your beef? I would say the fact that he's never drawn a dime in the entire time he's worked would be a bigger problem. The only reason he's getting such a high mark in this company is because he owns the fucking company. Don't sit there and think Hogan and Bischoff are running this show when in all actuality it's still TNA. I've heard they might be changing the name to Impact Wrestling. Hey, you know what? You can paint a pumpkin black. It doesn't make it a bowling ball. It's still going to be shit. It's just going to be in a different package. Anyways, I got to sit here and wait for the next segment to load, so I'll catch you guys back when I Finish watching that piece of crap. Angry Mark, back again. We actually, I can't believe it. We actually had a match after the first segment. This is monumental for TNA. Because normally we get a promo, a segment, a skit, a couple more promos, and then a match that maybe lasts 5 minutes. This was only 3 minutes, but hey, they're working on it. I'll give them props for that. And I normally don't want to do that to TNA because while it was a 3-minute match, it was a knockout match. Normally they get more time than the actual male wrestlers. But I digress. The big problem I had with this match was the fact that it was so short. You had Madison Rayne, Tara, as a tag team versus Mickie James and, as I call it, a secretary, Miss Tessmacher. Apparently there's a Superman reference there. I'm still trying to figure it out. What's more notable than the actual match was the dialogue between Taz and Tenay, which was more or less about the match and more about the segment before. Segment's over. These people have nothing to do with that. Why are you still bringing it up? Anyways, the little dialogue back and forth between them two was actually quite entertaining on a very bad level. Because they had basically, Tenay goes, who could this woman that Jeff Jarrett knows could be? He's worked in all these indie federations and all these other places. It could be anybody. And then Taz goes, I'm not making this up, or it could be someone from his personal side, but I'm going to lean more with yours. Really? Really? Are you kidding me? Of course it's going to be someone he's worked with. Of course it's going to be a female wrestler. Are you freaking kidding me to actually think that he's going to sit down and bring someone that has never wrestled before? No! That'd be stupid! Actually, that would be TNA booking in general. The match wasn't most noteworthy except, well, back onto the match, actually. The match was noteworthy for one other exception. Tessmacher wins with the victory roll, which I haven't seen in forever and a day. And they tease some disruption between Tara and Madison Rayne, who apparently Madison Rayne has been, I'm going to say, owner of Tara, and Tara just is slowly gaining her independence. It's a storyline that's been done to death before, and they're probably going to nail it into the ground. Trust me, this is TNA. It's what they do. They love to run things in the ground. Hey, you know what? I bet when I come back from the break, it's going to be another promo. I actually forgot to add the most notable thing after that match was the Ric Flair Hulk Hogan confrontation. Now, for one thing, if Ric Flair was going to be there this week, why didn't they promote it? It's fucking Ric Flair. You promote that. That's booking 101. If you got a big name coming back, guess what? Promote it. But anyways, he's showing no signs of having a shoulder dislocation, which is kind of like AJ Styles having a bruised cervix. Jesus. Anyways, they sit there and talk, and they find out that it's not Flair. So who is the Mystery Network executive? I'm really starting to bank on Dixie Carter. Just a gut feeling. And I'm going to go ahead and break it to you because I can't contain it any longer. It pisses me off. But the mistress of Kurt Angle is Chyna. I really don't think she's in any condition to work, probably, given her past and what she's gone through. No. Maybe in a minimal, limited capacity, maybe. But other than that, this is going to go horribly, horribly wrong and not in a very, very easy way. This is going to blow balls. Just saying. God damn it. I was right. Guess what? It was a backstage promo with Tara saying, we never get along. It's like I say, and she goes, and then I say, and she goes, and I say, no, girl, and she says, yes, girl, and stop it! That's the stupidest promo I've ever freaking heard. And then Madison Rayne comes out and says, when I win my title back and when I win that match, I get you back and your life's going to be a living hell. Whoop-de frickin' ding-dang-do. What could you obviously do to her that you haven't already done? After that, we had Tommy Dreamer walking through the back on his phone and the camera guy trying to get a hold of him. He's going, it's my personal time. It's my personal time. You know, I have a life after work. When the show ends and whatnot, I do have a personal life. AJ comes out and he does the basic thing of, you know, what's going on in your head? I don't even think I know this Tommy Dreamer. Is this EV2 thing coming back again? And Tommy's like, you don't know me. You're too young and naive and innocent to understand. AJ's like, well, AJ's just pretty much like, young and innocent? I have 3 kids. I'm a fully grown man. What don't you understand? At that point, Tommy says, well, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the back that you don't know about. For the love of God, please stop with the word shoots. They actually think they're breaking kayfabe when they're not breaking anything. And even when they do break kayfabe, I guess if you want to call it that, because obviously that's not what they're trying to keep, it's something ridiculous. Because they don't give you the full story of the backstage, but you're just supposed to know because you read the dirt sheets or you're on the internet all the time. Bullshit! I actually have a life outside wrestling. I'm just doing this for shits and giggles and fun. Actually, watching TNA is never fun. I want to pull a bullet through my brain right now. After that, Sting comes. They're actually doing a photo op with Sting, and they're like, hold the belt out. So he holds the belt out to take a couple pictures. He goes, are you done? And they go, yeah. So he walks off, and he's talking about his match with RVD. He's a high flyer. You know, he's saying stuff like he's a high flyer. He's been there. He's done it all. I'm going to zig when he zags. I thought I was going to be able to do that, but I'm getting old, and I don't know. And then they ask him about the network. Once again, the network's brought up. Seems to be the theme of the night. Because apparently this is the night of big reveals. Unfortunately, I revealed one for you just so you're not downtrodden when you watch it and just see how sad it's going to be. But he goes, oh yeah, the network exec's here. And they just leave it at that. Fortunately, I actually paused the video so I could do this little bit because that's actually too much for me to take into consideration at one point because, well, actually, one segment should have been enough for me to just go, fuck it, and let it go. Anyways, I got to finish watching this next segment. I'll be back in a bit. And I'm back, and I do want to apologize. There is some housework going on the other side of this door and a little bit of whistling. But the promo that Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy's still in jail. Matt Hardy, after Beer Money get in the ring, and are talking, Matt Hardy cuts out and doesn't necessarily cut a bad promo. I mean, he doesn't have a cue card to read from, so he's actually having to recite from memory, so he stutters a bit. But it's how he is part of the greatest tag team in history, and actually before that, Beer Money had came out and said, Matt, come on out here, we know who your partner is, it's your brother. Matt comes out and says, well, basically calls the Cowboy James Storm a drunken redneck, and that Bobby Roode is better, but still they're worthless pieces of crap due to whatever reason. I think it was because he actually said he and his brother were the better team or something, but he goes, so James Storm gets out of the ring, so does Bobby Roode. He tells him he doesn't have to back up, and he goes, you know, you can go on ahead and tell your brother to get up here, after taking a swig, finishing off his beer, throwing it, taking off his glasses and hat and stuff. Well, Matt goes, well, there's just one problem with that. My partner is not Jeff. He goes, my partner is someone you know very familiar. You're very familiar with. You know him. He's been with you inside and out. He knows all your weaknesses. And Matt starts to go, sorry about your damn, which would be sorry about your damn luck. James Storm finishes, and then all of a sudden, weird wonky music hits. Personally, I knew who it was when they did the whole it's someone who knows you inside and out. I just had to remember his name. It's Chris Harris, but I know him better as Braden Walker. Yes, they managed to finagle him away from his, well, actually they didn't finagle anything. He was let go by the WWE for being a sex set, just a bad worker. Of course, when you're saddled with a name like Braden Walker, yeah, they should have just called him that in TNA. He'd have got name recognition. But I digress. Personally, James Storm needs some more mic time. His promo kicked ass. And so did Bobby Roode's. But really, what stood out to me most was James Storm's mic work on that. James Storm fits the character well. He came out and cut a promo that was awesome. I can't remember all the details, but there was at least one line where he said, I'm the guy that would walk into a bar, punch you in the face, make you buy me a drink, take me back to your place after buying me a six-pack, and doing your girlfriend while you sit and watch like a little Pamby-Wissy boy. That was an awesome promo. It's very well good. Very well done. But I'm fixing to sit here and go through the next segment. So I'll get back to y'all in a little bit. Holy crap, that was awesome. Mick frickin' Foley's back as the network executive. And he managed to say what I had said earlier, that the name is changing to Impact, but I'm not really for sure about my statement earlier of painting a pumpkin black and calling it a bowling ball. He actually said it's about wrestling now, which I'm sitting there going, thank freaking God someone finally listened. We'll just have to see where it goes. He also announced tonight that they're having a 25-man battle royal for the number one contendership to the world title. And he said that's making an impact. Mick Foley back as commissioner is always a good thing. And he delivered what he always does. A great promo with intensity and emotion. I really like. I just can't believe I said that I like something about TNA. I guess even the angry mark can change. But it was a great segment. Really it was. Everybody played their parts well. And then he goes, Foley also says that he's going to announce who Angle's partner is, which I already spoiled, and maybe I shouldn't have, but it is China. She comes out to a massive pop. Karen Angle almost shat her pants and was literally trembling and crying. Maybe she can act. Maybe she was just legitimately terrified. Who knows? A well-done segment. I will give it that. Bravo. And the Angry Mark back here. Just got done watching the next segment of Impact, and I will tell you that, once again, not bad. Mick Foley back on the stick. Talks about how it's going to be about wrestling and how the name change and everything is going to be affected. He then tells China that everywhere Jeff Jarrett is, Karen Angle / Jarrett will be. And wherever Karen Angle / Jarrett will be, he wants her to be there. Kind of a little funny little thing afterthought. He looks and says, there's always been this awkward sexual tension between us. I laughed. I thought it was funny. It really was just a funny little segment. After that, we had Mr. Anderson talking for a bit about how he wanted to actually get at Mick Foley now because, as he puts it, this is the guy that's been keeping me away from my one-on-one title shot for months now. And also that since he's in the Battle Royal tonight, that he's going to take every man out. After that, we get a rundown of what's coming up at the next pay-per-view. Personally, I thought the funny thing about that was the first graphic was the Mickie James versus Madison Rayne match, and they both have the exact same pose. It's literally like the same pose, literally. The only difference was Mickie James had a belt on her shoulder. That's it. To finish off, we had that segment, we had a three-way match between Samoa Joe, Abyss, and Crimson. It was all right for what it was. It was a three-way match to put over Crimson in the weirdest way possible. Abyss hits a black hole slam. Personally, actually, I'm going to back up a bit because Crimson has probably the nastiest looking cravat I've ever seen, and that's in a good way. To just sit there, grab a guy's neck and just throw your knee up at it, that looks really impressive. Given his size, he could actually go some places. He looks a bit generic, but who doesn't in TNA? Really. Also, the match ended with a black hole slam followed by Crimson knocking out Abyss, which, by the way, Abyss has wolf man teeth in now. I don't know why. They literally said it was because Rob Van Dam kicked out his teeth. Right. But you can tell they're fake. That's what's so funny about it. You can see his bottom lip like jutting out just a little bit, so you know there's something there. But it was really a good match. I will actually say it actually worked for what it was supposed to do, and that was to put over Crimson for their match coming up. Samoa Joe can still move in the ring, by the way. Hits Abyss. He literally, kicked Crimson and then went up against the ropes, knocked Abyss down, and then right after that followed up with a little senton splash there. It was really nice. The end of the match, Abyss is beating down Crimson, and Joe just says, hey, I'm done with him. So Joe exits out. As he's walking up, Joe goes, you live by the sword, you die by the sword, which goes back to last week when they were talking about, well, you wasn't there for me, well, I wasn't there for you, but we don't want you there for us anyway. Just leave us alone. So then why are they worried? Catch you all back here in a little bit. Hey, this is the Angry Mark back again. Just got done watching the Battle Royal, the 25-man over-the-top rope Battle Royal. Very well done. I didn't watch all of it. But for the most part, they were pushing Matt Morgan, which was very surprising because he eliminated 5 people within the first 3 minutes of the match. It was just bam, 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 bam. They was making him look like a monster. Gay Orlando Jordan. What can we say about him in this dang thing? Well, he attempted to dry hump Matt Morgan and he got tossed, so take that as you will. Also, towards the end of the match, Bully Ray and Mr. Anderson were both on the outside, both going through the middle ropes, so they were not eliminated. At that point, Jeff Jarrett eliminates Kurt Angle with some help from Karen, and the next thing you know, he thinks he's won the match. It's an old school thing. It's been done a million times. But it worked for this because Chyna comes in, throws Jarrett out, and then from there you had pretty much Bully Ray and Anderson going at it. Anderson went for a senton bomb. Bully Ray got his legs up, but he sold it like death. It was a great move. Anderson wins when he actually puts him in the front chancery and just pulls him over the top rope. It was a very well done Battle Royal. I hate to say it, after they got through the bull crap, the bull crap opening, they've kind of delivered on the ending. I just got to see the rest of the ending, and I'll get right back with y'all to let you know my final thoughts and whatnot. Took me about a week to realize just exactly how I was going to finish this. I personally don't think I will be ever doing another TNA review. In fact, I don't want to even show my face again reviewing another TNA review. So if I do one, I'll be wearing this. That way no one can put my face with that fucking company. So now, what I'm going to do is go watch some good wrestling. This is my savior at this point. I need something to cleanse my ears and my eyes from what I watched. Thank you. Have a nice day. Angry Mark out.